How you doing there? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're studying Daf Ayin Ches, Daf 88 of Masechta Ksubis, friends. Well, Daf 88, whoa. Daf 78 of Masechta Ksubis, friends. Well, Daf 78, Nichsei Malug. Who can tell me what Nichsei Malug is? Nichsei Malug. I don't know, it's Nichsei Malug. What do you want me to tell you? It's come up before. Alright, let's go weiter, I guess. Oh, so we're starting the 8th parak over here of Masechta Ksubis. Yeah. Masechta Ksubis. We're like making headway over here in Masechta Ksubis. Before you know, we'll be on Masechta Nedarim. Alright, so we're going to start at the beginning of the parak. Let's dive in. Okay, Daf Ayin Ches Amud Aleph, right at the top of the page, new parak, 8th parak. Ha'isha shenaflon la nechasim ad shelo tisares. Right, that's what I wanted to say. It might be getting sunny out. What time is it? Is it 3:45? Might be getting sunny. I might have to put on my sunglasses. Ha'isha shenaflon la nechasim ad shelo tisares. Oh, so if you have a woman who inherited property before she got engaged, so she's a single woman, and she inherits property. Modin Beishamai Beisil Shemuches V'Nusenes V'Kayim. Beishamai and Beisil both agree that she could sell them, give them away, do whatever she wants with them, and that's fine. So, well, friends, remember like Nichsei Malug and Nichsei Tzon Barzel? Alright, here we go. So, Nichsei Tzon Barzel are like property that are kind of like written in the Ksuba, right? So she'll be like, yo, brother, like I'm taking in like this property, and she writes it in the Ksuba, and then basically she's bringing that into the marriage, and he could do whatever he wants with those properties. Now, if they get divorced, he has to give them back to her, the Nichsei Tzon Barzel, at a fixed price based on the time of the marriage, but basically that belongs to him. Again, if they get divorced, he has to pay her back, but as long as they're married, he can do whatever he wants with them. Now, that's Nichsei Tzon Barzel. Nichsei Malug are property that is not written into the Ksuba. It's not written, it's her property. It's her property, it's not written into the Ksuba, it's hers throughout the entire marriage, it's hers, not his. Now, he can eat the fruits, he can eat the peiros, he can eat the fruits of the Nichsei Malug, to the extent, as we've learned in the past, that he's considered a lokeach, and she would be unable to, right? It's like, there's like a shibud over there, meaning she would be unable to sell it to somebody else while they're married, because he's entitled to eat the fruits, and therefore, even though the property belongs to her, and therefore if they get divorced, they go right back to her, and if there was if they went up in value over the course of their marriage, that value is hers. So, as opposed to the Nichsei Tzon Barzel, right? So let's say she has two properties. One of them she writes into the Ksuba as Nichsei Tzon Barzel, one she keeps for herself. Both properties go up to, each property when the marriage began, it was worth $1,000, so each one was $1,000, and each one doubled in price and is now, at the time of divorce, $2,000. So the Nichsei Tzon Barzel that she wrote into the Ksuba, it has the fixed price at the time of the marriage, so he pays her back $1,000, which is the price that it was at the time of the marriage. That's the Nichsei Tzon Barzel. The Nichsei Malug, however, belongs to her, not him, and therefore when they get divorced, she keeps, it was hers the entire time, and now she has an asset that's worth $2,000, right? Meaning the Nichsei Malug were hers the entire time, and if it increased in price, right, she gets that, as opposed to the Nichsei Tzon Barzel is a fixed price based on the time of the marriage. Now, the Nichsei Malug, as I was saying, even though they belong to her, the husband has the right, is allowed to eat the fruits of the Nichsei Malug. And to the extent that because he's allowed to eat the fruits of the Nichsei Malug, she's not allowed to sell them. Friends, with that introduction, let's take another stab at this Mishnah. So, you have this woman, and she's got property, and she's a single woman. She's not engaged, not nothing. So, Bisham and Beisil both agree. She's not engaged, she's not married, she's not nothing. She's got this property, she can do whatever she wants with it. She wants to sell it, gesundheit, sell it. You want to give it away? Gesundheit, give it away. So, what if she's engaged? and now she inherits this property. She's engaged, and now she has this property. Beis say, so what that she's engaged? She's not married, so she could still sell it if she wants to. Beis Hillel omrim lo timkor. Whereas Beis Hillel says, no, she should not. She's engaged, she should not sell these properties. Elu ve'elu modim. Now both Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel, however, agree that if, when she's engaged and she inherits these properties, she then sells them. Even though Beis Hillel would say that she shouldn't do that, both Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel agree that the sale stands. Rabbi Yehuda says, that the Chachamim said to Rabbi Gamliel, so the rabbis asked Rabbi Gamliel Akasha, they said, we don't understand. How come once she's engaged, both Beis Shammai, so the Gemara is going to ask, is this talking about Beis Shammai, is this talking about Beis Hillel? But at the end of the day, the rabbis are asking Rabbi Gamliel that if she's engaged, how come when she sells the property, it's a good sale? Because since he's now married to her, or engaged to her at least, she shouldn't be able to sell that property anymore, right? Once he merits to this woman, shouldn't he merit to the property as well? Why, right? Even Beis Hillel says that she's not allowed to sell the property. It admits that if she does sell it, it would be a proper sale. So Gamliel says, listen, friends, look, I'm embarrassed about one second. Are people making noise outside? Give me a second. I need to focus to see if they're making noise. I don't think they are. Okay. I'm so sensitive to hearing people making noise that I even hear people making noise when they're not making noise. That's how sensitive I am. So, where are we? Oh, so Rabbi Gamliel responds to him, he says, Ma pitom, look, listen friends, says Rabbi Gamliel, I don't really understand why, as we're going to see in a few minutes, that if she gets property after she's married now, mamish married, she was engaged, now she's married, and then she gets this property, if she sells it, it doesn't work. She's not allowed to sell it at that point. So it says Rabbi Gamliel, look, I don't understand why when she's married, she's not allowed to sell these properties. Certainly then, when she's not married, she can sell them. On these properties that she gets, that she inherits when she's married, I'm embarrassed about the fact that she's not allowed to sell them. I don't understand why. But even, you want to say that even property that she inherited prior to being married, she should not be allowed to sell? So Gamliel says, I don't understand, right? You're coming to me and saying, I don't understand, because, right, you guys are saying to me that once he is engaged to her, he should merit to her properties. And says Gamliel, I disagree. Honestly, I don't even understand why after she's married, she's not allowed to sell the properties. Certainly then, leave her alone when she's not yet married, let her sell the properties. So now, if she inherits these properties once she's already married, both Beis Hillel and Beis Shammai agree that if she sold or gave away these properties, she cannot do that, and the husband can go to the person who bought it and said, fellow, you can't do that, brother. My wife sold that to you. I can eat the fruits. She's not allowed to sell it. You're not allowed to buy it. Buy. That's what he says. Ad shelo nises v'nises os. Now I'm sure what everybody was wondering. What if she inherited property prior to being married? Maybe she was engaged at that point. Maybe she wasn't engaged. Maybe she was single at that point. But whatever it was before marriage, she inherited property. V'nises, and then she got married. So now what? Meaning, do we say that, look, she's married now, she cannot sell it? Or do we say that, since she inherited it prior to being married, she can sell it? Rabbi Gamliel says, if she sells it or gives it away, it's fine. Because since she inherited prior to being married, If she sold it or gave it away, it works. Amr b'Chanina ben Akavya, Amr l'fnei Rabbi Gamliel, they said before Rabbi Gamliel, Ho v'zocha ba'isha le'yizke ben Chosim. So it says Rabbi Chanina ben Akavya, similar to what Rabbi Yehoshua, to Rabbi Yehuda had said a few lines earlier, that the rabbi said to Rabbi Gamliel, once he merits to be married to this woman, shouldn't he merit to have her property to the extent that she should be unable to sell it, even though she had inherited it prior to being married? Amr lohem, to which Rabbi Gamliel answers in the same manner, look, I don't understand why, right? I'm embarrassed about the fact that if she inherits it after marriage, she's unable to sell it. Ella, you're even saying that the ones that she had inherited prior, she can't sell? No way, no how, says Rabbi Gamliel. If she inherited it before she was married, she can sell it, alright. Rabbi Shimon cholek bein nechasim l'nechasim. So Shimon makes a chilek, makes a distinction between different types of property. Nechasim you do in the val lo timkor v'machor v'nos nabatul. Property that the husband knew about, so he cannot, she cannot sell. And right, so if the husband knew about the property, so then she may not sell the property. And if she does, it doesn't count. She'ein doing the bal. If he did not know about it, and the Gemara is going to explain what does it mean he knew about it, didn't know about it. We're going to see it at the end of the daf, l'maisa. So where am I? So if he doesn't know about them, so then she should not sell them. But if she did sell them, so then beseder, the sale will go through. Okay, friends, that was the first Mishnah of the 8th parak of Masechta Ksubis. Says the Gemara. Ma'ishna Reisha de lo plige u'ma'ishna Seifa de plige. The Gemara wants to know how come in the opening act of the Mishnah, in the opening act of the Mishnah, there were a few acts in the Mishnah. The opening act of the Mishnah. How come it says that in the opening act of the Mishnah, Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel agree that if she sells it, it works? Right? We said that if she inherits property when she's a single woman, she could sell it, give it away. Both Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel agree that that's fine. And yet, when it comes to she inherits it after Erisin, now already Beis Shammai says l'chatchila she could sell it. Beis Hillel says only b'diavad she could sell it. So I guess she can't sell it, but b'diavad it works. Okay. Ma'ishna Reisha de lo plige. How come in the Reisha there's no machlokus between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel? They both agree that she can sell this stuff, l'chatchila. U'ma'ishna Seifa de plige. And how come when she inherits the property after Erisin, now there's a machlokus? Beis Shammai says she could sell it l'chatchila. Beis Hillel says she cannot sell it, but if she does sell it, then b'diavad it works. Amrit v'Rabbi the term besmedrash of Rabbi Reisha bizchusa naflu. Well, the answer is that in the Reisha, when she was single, so they're hers. Right? She was completely single. She inherited property, they're entirely hers. She can do whatever the heck she wants with them. Seifa bizchusa naflu. But in the Seifa, once she's betrothed, she inherited them in his merit, right? Meaning while she was betrothed to him. But in bizchuso naflu ki machor v'nosna ma'kayim. But one second, if we're saying that once she's betrothed, then they fell into his merit, but then if they're in his merit, then she should not be able to sell them. We said that both Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel agree that if she sells them, it goes through. But if we're saying that when she's betrothed, it is in his merit, well then she should be unable to sell them, and if she sells them, it should not work. Ella Reisha Vadai Bizchus Naflu. Rather, when she's a single woman, certainly it came into her merit. I mean, who else's merit would it be? Seifa, but once she's betrothed, now it's already a suffix. Eimar Bizchusa, it's unclear. Right? Maybe it's his merit, maybe it's her merit, they're betrothed. And therefore, she should not sell it, at least according to Beis Hillel. But if she sells it, so beseder, it goes through. Fine. Omer Rabbi Yehuda, Omer Lifnei Rabbi Gamliel. So, Rabbi Yehuda had said, right, meaning the Mishnah had said that if she inherits property after she is engaged, so then Beis Shammai says that she could sell it or give it away. Well, Beis Shammai says she could sell it lichatchila. Beis Hillel says that she should not sell it, but b'diavad it is sold. So then we said that says Rabbi Yehuda that the rabbis then approached Rabbi Gamliel and they said, "Look, I don't understand why, if she sells it, is it sold? Shouldn't we say that he has merited her and her properties, and she should be unable to sell it?" Okay, so as I said a few minutes ago, the Gemara asks, when the rabbis are approaching Rabbi Gamliel, they're talking about b'diavad lechatchila, meaning, are they asking on Beis Shammai's opinion? That Beis Shammai says that when they are betrothed, she could sell this property lechatchila, and they're asking Rabbi Gamliel, why does Beis Shammai say that she could sell the properties lechatchila? After all, they're betrothed. Shouldn't he merit them? And at least, lechatchila, she should not be able to sell them, but b'diavad it would work. Or are the Chacham approaching Rabbi Gamliel and asking on Beis Hillel and saying even b'diavad no, right? Or are they asking Rabbi Gamliel and saying, look, Rabbi Gamliel, Beis Hillel says that she shouldn't be selling these properties once she's betrothed, but if she does, it works. And are they asking Rabbi Gamliel saying, look, we don't understand. If he merits her by getting engaged, he should also merit the property, and if she sells them even b'diavad, it should not work. So that's what the Gemara wants to know. Are the rabbis asking Rabbi Gamliel, we don't understand why Beis Shammai would say that even the lechatchila she could sell the properties? Granted, b'diavad it would work, but we don't understand why the lechatchila she should be able to sell the properties. Or are they asking Rabbi Gamliel, we don't understand Beis Hillel's opinion, why do they say that b'diavad it works? After all, he should merit those properties, and it should not work at all. So Tashma Kaminir D'Tanya, we learn in the Brisa, Rabbi Yehuda Amru L'fnei Rabbi Gamliel. It says Rabbi Yehuda in this Brisa that they said before Rabbi Gamliel, Hol v'zo ishto. So they said to Rabbi Gamliel, look, since when they are married, she is his wife, and when they are betrothed, she is his wife. Mazo machrobatel, just like michrobatel, just like once she is married, if she sells it, it does not work at all. Avzo michrobatel. So here also, once she's engaged, I would think that the sale should not work whatsoever, i.e. even b'diavad, i.e. they're asking according to Beis Hillel. We don't understand why Beis Hillel is saying that b'diavad it works, it shouldn't even work b'diavad. Omer loen, to which of course Rabbi Gamliel responds, Alachdoshim anuboshim, we are embarrassed about the properties that she inherits after marriage. Elashatim gagnu alenu sayishanim, you are asking, you want to make it that the sale doesn't work even when they are only betrothed. No, when they are betrothed, she could sell it. Shmamino diavad, ka'omer shmamino. So we see that they were asking Rabbi Gamliel even b'diavad, that they wanted to say that they didn't understand why the sale should work at all. It shouldn't even work b'diavad. And he says, look, I'm embarrassed about the post-marriage sales, but leave alone the post-engagement sales. And just did a babble yawn, Rabbi Yisrael. Tanya Amar Reb Chanina ben Akavya, we learn in a Brisa. Says Reb Chanina ben Akavya, what does he say? Lo kach eshiv Rabbi Gamliel, that actually Rabbi Gamliel did not respond to the rabbis in the manner that was mentioned in our Mishnah, which is, I'm embarrassed about the post-marriage sale, leave me alone about the prior marriage sale. So no, that's not right. Lo kach eshiv Rabbi Gamliel, that's not what Rabbi Gamliel said, lechacham, to the rabbis, ela kach eshiv. This is how he responded to him, right? They were asking, hey, Rabbi Gamliel, we don't understand why the sale should work prior to marriage. And he answered, Loim amartem b'nesua. He says, look, once she's married, she can buy lazaka b'mtzios of my sedel v'afaris and darel. Once she's married, I understand why she's unable to sell the property, because after all, once she's married, her husband is zoche to the things that she finds, to the things that she makes. He could be made for her nadarim. So I understand why he should be zocha to the payers, and she should be unable to sell the property once they're married. Tomu barusa, but what makes you think that you should apply that to a betrothal situation? She'ein ba'la zakai, lo b'mtziasav, lo b'ma'asedav, lo ba'afaris and darel. That when they are merely betrothed, the husband does not merit to the things that she finds, to the things that she makes, and to being mefer her nedarim alone, right? He can only do that together with the father. Maisa just sneezed. Well, what can we do that? A babble sneeze? Babble? Bisol, what should we call it when I sneeze? A babble? A bit? I don't know. Let us know. So, very good. Okay. So they wanted to know, like, hey, she shouldn't be able to sell the stuff once she's engaged. He says, look, if they're only engaged, I mean, you know, the husband doesn't like merit as much stuff, so she could sell stuff. Amrlo, Rabbi, machra ajlo nises. So they said, okay, fine, that's good, that sounds good, as long as she sold it before she got married, right? At that point, he's not zoche to mitzyoso ma'asiyadeh, first and darel. Nises v'achar kach machra ma'u. But what if she inherited it prior to being married? That's cool. She inherited it prior to being married. That's cool. I don't know that it's much better than married, though. Is it worth it? Married? It's very nice. Married. I like it. Before she was married. I kind of like it, honestly. Married. I kind of like it. It's arguably it's not any better than married. And married, of course, is the right word. Marriage is kind of nice, though. That's a nice word. Why did they go with married? Why didn't they just go with like the person who was making the language? Like, why would you go with married when you could do marriage? Maybe it's a little more complicated to say marriage, but there's something about it. It's much nicer. It's got a little more personality, I think. Marriage. Oh, that's good, man. We got to keep a list of all these words, man. We're gonna have a completely different language at the end of Babylon Talmud. It's good. We'll have our own like English dialect. Oh my goodness gracious! Wow. Okay, let's do it. Okay, vower. We even saw, what was the other one? A flaxer, a vower, a flaxer, marriaged. It's good. What was the other one we had? Out-herit. We got some good stuff here. Alright, well. Rabbi, so they said, okay, Rabbi, machra achelo nisa is fine. So you explain, okay, I understand that if she inherited it before she got married, and, alright, as amazing as marriage is, I think I have to go with married. I'm sorry. But marriage is really good. So you explained, if she inherited it before she got married, and then sold it before she got married, so because he's not yet zoche to the stuff. But nises v'charkach mocher. But if she got married and then she sold it, so even though she inherited it before she was married, but then she got married before she hadn't sold it yet, and now she's married. Now what? He says that, look, avzo mocheres v'nosenes v'kaim, she can oichet, sell it, give it away, it's fine. They said to him, they said, yeah, but now that, why is it fine? Now that they're married, so he merits her, he should merit her property. He says to them, look, I'm embarrassed about the new ones, the things that she's inheriting now post-marriage, but you're even trying to say that this should be the case by the ones that she inherited prior to marriage. Forget it. If she inherited prior to marriage, she could sell it. Fine. But one second, we learned in our Mishnah that if she inherited prior to being married and then she got married, that if she sold it or gave it away, it works. Friends, what's the difference between the Brisa and our Mishnah? In the Brisa it says mocheres v'nosenes v'kayim. In our Mishnah it said mochra v'nosno v'kayim. I.e., our Mishnah is b'di'evet, right? Meaning in the Brisa it's saying if she inherits it prior to marriage and then she gets married. So in our Mishnah it said, look, if she sold it, then it's fine, it works. Whereas the Brisa says lichatchila she could sell it or give it away. and it will be fine. So what's the difference? Amr Rav Zvid, Tini Mochayes v'nosenes v'kaim. So Rav Zvid says, look, just change around the Mishnah and say Mochayes v'nosenes v'kaim. Make it like the Brisa. Say that the Chatchila she could sell it or give it away. Rav Papi Omer says, Rav Papi Lo Kasha, Ha Rav Yehuda, Ali b'Rabbi Gamliel. Our Mishnah is Rabbi Yehuda's version of Rabbi Gamliel, where it says Imachra v'nosna b'di'evid. Ha Rab Chanina ben Akavya, Ali b'Rabbi Gamliel, whereas the Brisa is Rab Chanina ben Akavya, who says that even the Chatchila she could sell it or give it away. Rab Chanina ben Akavya ke Beishamai, is Rab Chanina ben Akavya saying like Beishamai that the Chatchila she could sell it or give it away? That was after all Beis Shammai's opinion. Beis Hillel says that the Chatchila she cannot sell it, only b'di'evid. So no. So what Reb Chanina ben Akavya is saying, that actually Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel both agree that even the Chatchila she could sell it or give it away. Rav Shmuel Damir Tabai, Rav Shmuel will say, Ben shnaflu la nechasim ad shelo nisarso, whether she inherited the property before, when she was single, before she even got engaged, Ben shnaflu la nechasim mishen nisarso, or whether she inherited the property once she was engaged, Venises, and then she got married. Habal motzi miyad al kuches, the husband can chaparain the property from any purchaser, right? So even if she inherited it as a single woman or when she was engaged, but then she got married, then she cannot sell it anymore. Kiman, who's that like? Delok Rab Yehuda, v'lok Rab Chanina ben Akavya. It's like neither Rab Yehuda, who says that it works b'di'evid, nor is like Rab Chanina ben Akavya, who says that she could sell it l'chatchila. Inu the Amek Rabbeinu, they say like the rabbis, the Tanya, Rabbeinu Chazu v'nimnu, that the rabbis said, Ben shenafula ad shelo tisayis, ben shenafula mishen tisayis v'nises, that whether she inherited the property when she was single, whether she inherited the property when she was engaged, and then she gets married, abam motzim yad al kuches, the husband can chaparain the property from any buyers. Mishanises elevelu modim. Now, once she gets married, if she inherits property, both Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel agree that she may not sell it, and if she sells it, it does not work. If she inherits it after marriage, Lema Tanina the Takonas Usha. So let's say we have a Mishnah that we have a Mishnah for the Takonas Usha, right? That we learned on Daf Nun. Rabbi Yossi Rab Chanina beUsha Eskinu, that they established in Usha Ha'isha Shemacho b'Nichsei Melug b'Chai Baila v'Meisa, that if you have a woman who sold Nichsei Milug when her husband was alive, Habam Motzi Miyad al Kuches, the husband can chaparain. So what do we see, right? I mean, she sells it, he can go and chaparain from them. So he can chap it back around. So basically, that's like our Mishnah is saying that once they're married, she cannot sell it, and if she sells it, it doesn't work. So and he can chap it back around. So masnisim b'chayel vila peris. Well, our Mishnah is only talking about, right, from our Mishnah alone, we would only know that when, right, in her lifetime, he'd be able to chap him around. So meaning, if they're married and she sells his property, he can say, hey, you're not allowed to do that. I can merit to the fruits. So we're saying, okay, you can go to the guy and eat the fruits. So the sale is still valid. The person who bought it owns the field, but he merits to the fruits. But if, but if she then dies and he's no longer married to her, so then the other guy will inherit it because he bought it. Takanas Usha b'gufa shakaka v'la'achar misa. Whereas Takanas Usha is saying that no, even she can't sell the property b'chlal. According to Takanas Usha, if she sells it while they're married, it doesn't work at all. Not just the pairs, the sale is null and void, and if she dies, he inherits that property. Okay? Rabbi Shimon Cholek ben Nechasim, Rabbi Shimon says that there's a difference between the property that he knows about, or that he knew about at the time of marriage, and property that he didn't know about. Eluin Yuduin, Ve'eluin She'enin Yuduin, what's considered known, what's considered not known. Amr Rabbi Yossi Rab Chanina Yuduin Mikarkoi, She'enin Yuduin Mitatle. Rabbi Yossi Rab Chanina says, well, known properties known things are property. Things that aren't known are movable objects, movable items. Rabbi Yochanan Amar Elu Ve'elu Yuduin. Rabbi Yochanan says no, both of those can be considered known. Ve'elu and She'enin Yuduin, these are the ones that aren't known. Kol she'yosheves kam v'noflu la nechosim v'dinas hayom. Well, if she inherits property somewhere overseas, Tanin Am Yochi Eluin She'enin Yuduin kol she'yosheves kam v'noflu la nechosim v'dinas hayom. If she's in here, but she's inheriting property in some far off place, so that would be considered Einin Yuduin, and that she would be able to sell even if they are married. Well, friends, that was the Ayin Ches of Masechet Ksubis. We started the 8th parak of Masechet Ksubis today. We talk about Nichsei Malug. Interesting sugyas. Nichsei Malug, of course, are property that the wife retains and they belong to her. The husband, however, can eat the fruits. And we say that, look, if she inherits these prior to being even engaged, she can do whatever she wants with them. If she inherits them when she's engaged, so then we have a machlokas b'Shammai Beisil. Shammai says she could sell them lechatchila. Beisil says that she cannot sell them, but if she does, then it works. If she inherits them once she is married, then both Beishamai and Beisil agree that she would be unable to sell the property, and if she does, the husband can go on chap marayim. Then we had a shaila, what about if she inherits them prior to being married, but then she gets married and she hasn't yet sold them, can she sell them now since she inherited them prior to being married? And Gamliel says yes. Rav and Shmuel say no, she may not. Friends, that was Daf Ayin Ches of Masechet Ksubis. Hope you enjoy. Peace out.